I love the internet and its silly hypotheticals. I'm currently trying and failing at making a living off of it. The thing is, these fights are never close. But at least before it was a billion lions versus Pokemon, some kind of matchup where the weaker side needs insane numbers. In case you haven't seen on TikTok or Twitter recently, can 100 men defeat a single silverback gorilla is the new big question. Sounding like a pretty good video idea for Mr. Beast if he ever decides to become evil. But just like some of these other could they do it's, the answer is pretty obvious. Like, yes, duh. No, it's not close, video over. But because I need this video to be at least 8 minutes long to begin to pay off what I spent on the thumbnail, I'll explain why. At face value, there seems to be a pretty mixed bag on what people believe the outcome of this fight will be. And to be fair, most of it, like at least 90%, is played for laughs, and it is pretty funny. And of course, people who rage bait everyone who takes it a little too seriously. But with the thousands upon thousands of people who have seen, interacted with, and formed an opinion on the topic, there's bound to be people who genuinely believe the gorilla has a chance or even straight up stomps the other side, which just no. We can start off with the gorilla. Let's be generous here and assume that this is a silverback at its absolute peak, the prime Mike Tyson of gorillas. The largest of gorillas can grow to be 6'5", 500 pounds, with an 8.5 foot wingspan. Not even the tallest dudes are outreaching him, and no one should be outweighing him. Jokes aside, it makes most sense to take 100 average-ish dudes you're likely to pick from a crowded city, and not freaks of nature that you'd find in a Guinness World Record book, or TLC. Along with their frame, gorillas have 2-inch canine teeth, which they can use to bite down with 1300 psi. For reference, that's more than a grizzly bear, lion, and even a tiger. But unlike those animals, gorillas don't bite as a leading attack. Therefore, it's not nearly as efficient as a predator's bite, to say the neck or something. Gorillas typically use their overwhelming strength to fend off attackers. Studies show that gorillas can lift around 10 times their own body weight, meaning our tough little guy should be pushing around 5,000 pounds. An average gorilla is stated to have the strength of around 20 men combined. Certainly nothing to scoff at, especially when considering that their foot-long hands can exert around 700 psi on the high end, when it only takes about half of that to fracture a human skull. Our skulls can withstand up to 1100 psi before it completely pops though. That is just one hand, so the gorilla grabbing a dude by the head and just giving him the red rush treatment isn't out of the question. Also, let's assume that this guy's completely bloodlusted. Not one of those, oh, he's more scared of you than you are of him. Hell no. He knows this is it. He's fighting for his life, it's his final stand. Like Captain America in Endgame, but instead of Chitauri soldiers, it's like your neighborhood watch. And the scary thing about herbivores is that they don't kill things the way predator animals do. Like if a jaguar attacks you, you'll probably get your neck snapped or get suffocated. If you're super unlucky, maybe you'll get your throat ripped out and bleed out real fast. Herbivores, especially primates, kill things pretty horrifically, like faces ripped off, digits removed, double hammer fist straight to the chest, cave it right in. Not trying to get graphic here, just painting the picture. Some people are gonna have a real bad time, and there isn't a single person on the planet that can realistically stand up to a gorilla, especially our hypothetical silverback with maxed out stats. There was a gorilla in the zoo over in the UK that fractured both of a zookeeper's arms just by grabbing her and shaking her a bit. The guy was just startled too, no intention of truly hurting her. On top of their strength, gorillas are really fast, running around 25 miles an hour, much faster than your average human. So you probably aren't getting away from this guy if he has his sights set on you. But the unfortunate fact of the matter is that these guys aren't. They're shot and killed just like any normal person, and are regularly packed up by leopards whose bite force can reach around 400 psi on a higher end. They're losing 1v1s here. And don't get me wrong, leopards are no joke despite being on the smaller end of what you think of when someone mentions big cats, but I highly doubt anyone saying a single leopard is soloing 100 guys. Let's switch gears and talk about what 100 human males are capable of. First, we have to agree on who's participating. It'd either be 100 copy and paste average Joes, or like I said earlier, 100 guys you could randomly pick out in public. The net sum should still equal to be just an average guy, so I personally don't think it matters too much. Humans don't even come close to gorillas in raw power, obviously, with the average untrained guy only benching around 135, but this is surely a lowball since most guys who have been active in their lives and or have some kind of strength training can at least move around their own body weight. The average-ish range of size in the US is around 6 foot on the higher end and 5'6" on the lower end. Imagine being shorter than that. While their weight ranges from 135 to 2-something for people in those heights. But there are certainly people here that would weigh more or less than this. There of course are guys who have never picked up a weight in their lives and would literally get snapped in half in this fight, but let's assume that we also have some top tier athletes with us here too. Some of the strongest fighters in the world can punch at over 1000 psi, 1300 to 1500 on the absolute high end. Gorillas have a much higher muscle mass and especially bone density than humans, but any animal with a brain inside of its skull can get rattled. Top tier humans can also run faster than a gorilla, but but not by much. Durability is sort of a non-factor here. Humans have had some pretty impressive showings of durability, like surviving crazy falls or intense blood loss, but have also straight up died to a single punch to the face, so regardless, no one's shrugging off a full assault from a gorilla, but it's at least possible to survive a swing or a couple of hits from one under the right circumstances. So what do we do better than gorillas? Not much that's directly applicable to a fight, but there are some important silver linings. First, we're much smarter. Gorillas are about as smart as your average 5 or 6-year-old. With 100 people, a plan can certainly be made to take it out. With our intelligence, we also know fighting styles and techniques to take it down. Don't get me wrong, no black belt jujitsu master is gonna grapple a gorilla, not even like 10 of them, at least not at first, which leads me to the main difference between the two parties: stamina. Humans are some of the top animals in the world when it comes to endurance, which is how our ancestors were able to take down prey much bigger and much stronger than themselves, by whittling them down and chasing them over long distances. Our ability to sweat allows us to dissipate heat from our bodies and cool us down. Hunting and straight up fighting aren't exactly one-to-one, but compared to a gorilla whose body is made for short, explosive, powerful movements over a short period, we could fight for much longer. So how does this fight play out? First of all, no weapons, duh. One guy with a pistol could win this fight, and even 100 dudes with pocket knives would be overkill. Second, there is no retreat. Completely realistically, a gorilla is running for its life if 100 dudes rolled up on it, maybe a few swings in self-defense. In the same vein, your average guy seeing a 500-pound monkey man bash a guy's head in right next to him is probably running for the hills. This is one gorilla fighting to the death, and 100 guys knowing many will die. I don't want to take the fear factor away too much. This is 100 regular guys, not 100 soldiers, but it is 100 individual dudes, each knowing what they're getting into and just as willing to die for the cause as the next. And a gorilla is easily one-shotting multiple guys all in a row, no issue. And his body is much sturdier, allowing it to take a fair share of damage. But you guys are acting like the gorilla's got the fucking infinity gauntlet and gets stronger with every kill. Please, right now, if you don't believe me, try throwing 100 haymakers in a row, like as hard as you can. Don't worry, I can wait, ad revenue. Remember? Doesn't matter anyways because you can't. The last swings aren't gonna have as much oomph to it as the first dozen. And like I said, a gorilla does not have a human stamina. His swings will pack a way bigger punch, but can't do it for nearly as long as the rest of us. Big muscles use big energy. Durability is certainly an issue too, but it can be damaged by enough punches. Humans aren't the only creatures that can get knocked out or get a concussion. Enough swings will hurt it. A gorilla will be weakened by the fighting and it will lose, like, duh. Not to be the, well, 1 billion is a lot of lions guy, but that's almost an entire Cinemark theater filled with people. And shoulder to shoulder, not where you leave a seat in between you and the couple next to you. Maybe I'm crazy and underestimating the gorilla, but I think it can maybe get through half of the people before it gets extremely tired and takes more damage than it could put out. He is not John Wick or Jon Snow. The gorilla will die tired. This is 100v1, not 100 1v1s. I was debating my friend on the topic and he went on about what the gorilla would do, as if it could conjure up some strategy to take everyone out. Primates are smart for animals, but this is like giving a 5-year-old super soldier serum. I have a 5-year-old sister and she is not devising some Batman-esque plan to sweep the other side. The gorilla's gonna punch, throw guys around, bite, and maybe throw poop as his ranged attack. He is not soloing 100 guys. At absolute best, I can imagine the 6'5" behemoth getting through 75 people max. He has the same sensitive bits we do. You know, the down there ones. But also eyes, ears, nose. Shoving your arm down his throat could work. I don't know why some people are acting like the gorilla is literally eating punches like Omni-Man. I'm sure at least half of the guys participating are capable of packing a mean wallop straight to the side of the gorilla's head. And yeah, it might not drop him immediately, but its body is just a more durable version of ours. A crazy right hook might sting for him, but enough will take him out, especially when he's too tired to defend himself. And 500 pounds is obviously heavy, but a tired gorilla can certainly be pushed around by a few guys, maybe even momentarily pinned if he's exhausted. The gorilla does not win the battle of attrition. People hype up gorillas way too much, and I'ma say it, gorillas are the most overhyped and overrated animals in the animal kingdom when it comes to strength. I've seen them pit against bears in 1v1s, and I've also recently seen a debate between 100 gorillas and 100 lions. Just goes to show what the general public thinks of the average gorilla, when in reality 100 lions annihilate the gorillas, and the bears are one of the few land animals that can realistically win 100v1. But thanks for watching my silly little video. Mr. Beast, if you're watching this, just know that I would get in the ring against a gorilla for $1 million. Huge thanks to Something in the World for today's thumbnail. His Twitter's down in the description, as per usual. Next video will finally be the Pokemon ranking I mentioned, so subscribe to see when that's out, and I'll see you guys later.